Hey everybody, it's Alloy, and I thought I would take a chance to make another tutorial, but this time about the live option screener. We've had a couple of questions, and while a lot of this will probably be obvious to people who are used to looking at options, there are a couple of things that work differently simply because you're on digits. So, why don't we refresh just to get an idea of how it looks when a user starts out and they have a watch list. So when I refresh, 8 pop up. These are representative of the 8 tickers I have in my watch list. So, before we continue, how do you add things to your watch list? Well, let's look up a company I probably should already have on my watch list, but don't, which is Target. Any module on digits where you look up a company, wow, okay, pardon me, I got a little distracted. This is some fantastic movement. $10 in a couple days, wow. Okay, pardon me. Well, we're adding it to my watch list, so I guess that's a good thing. Let's go ahead and add Target by clicking the watch button at the top. You'll see it automatically applied here. That's good. That will always happen, and if you want to remove things to expose a different 8 set of options for your screener, simply click the X, and you'll see Spy, NVIDIA, Apple, Zoom, Docu, Lulu, Neo, and Chewy would be the stocks that show up here instead. So it's very interesting. Target going up $10 recently, guys. Didn't mean to make the video about that, but pretty cool stuff. So why don't we go back to what the video is about. Now, looking at each one of these squares, which are all calls, by the way, we don't want to focus on puts because most option sweeps, even coming from the dark pool, are delta hedges. They're usually delta neutral hedges, and because of that, when you just consider the growth of the market, puts are always more dangerous. The market tends to go up, it trends upward. So even recommending puts when they're likely originating from a delta neutral position is pretty it's shooting fish in a barrel, which sounds easy. It's actually very hard. So I didn't use that metaphor correctly, but it's very difficult. You don't want to buy puts just because you see it from an option sweep. Calls, maybe, but not puts. So we take a look at this. We see Tesla, right? To the right of the call label, we see the volume, monetary volume. So we have $366,000. Now, if you see something like this, and another one pops up the next second during live market hours, because right now it's the weekend, and another one pops up, and it says $365,000. That is still another order, just one that is very similar to the first one you saw. So we see here on SPY, we have $109,000. Pretty significant orders, right? A lot of this information you're going to know what to do with. Why don't we take a look at the date? That's the strike expiration. 370 strike at $51. Now we've already done the times 100 shares multiplication for you. So this actually is 0.51 if you were to read it in Robinhood. We've just done the multiplication. I don't like to beat around the bush or make you do any of that. So yes, a little unlike how you might see options calculated in other, well, technically this is a little bit incorrect, right? It's what you're paying monetarily, but it's the price for each share in that contract's and the exposure of each share's value in that contract is usually what you're looking at. Well, we're just going to do the math on 100 shares. It's $51, not 0.51. Hope that makes sense. The next thing right under here is the volume, not the open interest. Now these are sorted by open interest. That's a part of this algorithm is open interest. It is one chunk of it. But then we have volume being shown to you so you can see as it changes. Is it lessening? Is open volume increasing or open interest increasing while volume is decreasing? These are little metrics we want you to be able to see. Right under that is a pretty provocative, cool buy button. Now, just in clicking that, we see we have some options, right? We have SPY. It's all pre-filled for you. It's all ready to go. So you can change it from a call to a put, just like that. Buy, sell, quantity, the price, which again, you can see what I was talking about. It's 5-1 here. We just did the math and told you $51, so your brain can figure it out a little easier. Trigger, immediate or stop. Expires good for day or good till canceled. So you'll want to make sure that your Robinhood is connected if you're going to do this, and I'll of course only do it during market hours. And keep in mind, this is a brand new feature. So if you run into any bugs, don't worry about it. If your order doesn't go through, don't worry about it. But what we can say is it won't go through twice. It won't mess anything up on your account. Right under that is called a delta hedge bar. And this is the algorithm, and doing some work on the delta value of the position, but also a bunch of other Greeks like gamma, vana, charm, things that have to do with the intrinsic value and extrinsic value of the contract. So implied volatility and news cycles, the headlines, what that will do are also all included in factoring this bar right here. So this buy call is very low quality, right? And let's just see real quick if there's a correlation in that information and something we see from another portion of the dashboard, one of the premium or pro features. So we see it has low value, or the delta value of it is very low. Now we have predicted prices on Monday on SPY of about $3 of gain. So that's significant, right? It would basically put us back though to 19, and over a weekend of theta when it expires on the 4th. That's really rough. I can see why this delta position is fairly low. Now let's go ahead and look at Tesla. Just again on movement predictor, I'm just kind of winging it here. There are better ways to do this, but it's much better delta advantage, right? And we got a 500 strike. So let's see. I think we all know Tesla has more IV, so that's probably a big why the delta algorithm found so much better results, is because if Tesla goes up at all, the IV is so explosive that you'll make a lot of money from it. And yet, interestingly, let's keep in mind the 400, 450 scales. It's just because the linear and polynomial regression lines that are being forced to fit in the same area. But this blue and purple are actually very close to each other. So look at the predicted price and real price, the actual numbers show up. And then our predicted price is 454. So maybe the delta is very high quality, but the movement predictor is saying it's going to go down on Monday. So it's one of those things where, again, be careful with option spreads. Even live feeds are finicky. It requires a human intelligence in the end to double check the assumption and make sure that what you're doing is not overexposing you to risk, or it's not simply coattailing off of what you've seen because you saw it. Coattailing is important, it's useful, it's good, but you should always find out why someone made that decision themselves and see if you agree with that decision. It should be an inspiration, like just seeing something someone does and asking yourself if that might work for you in your portfolio. That's all for today. Didn't want it to be a long one. Enjoy your weekend, and I hope it's going well, everybody. Thanks for watching.